Hi guys, it's Fat Petrolhead here, and today we're gonna talk about cars imported from the US, which is quite popular on many markets, especially on developing markets. And these cars from the very beginning seems quite a great deal, because you can get an almost new car or something like 3-5 years old car for quite cheap, usually maybe 20 or 30% less that you would get a car from the local market. And if you're a bit into cars, then you probably know that these cars are from the auction, at least 99% of them. They were crashed in the US, maybe flooded, and after that repaired and then came to your home market. And of course, none of us want to buy a car after the major accident. Seems obvious, right? However, what about buying a car with a minor accident? It could be a smart move, right? Because you get a car with a decent discount, and also what can be repainted, like a front bumper, maybe something like a headlights changed. Good deal, right? Not really. I will show it to you on one example. Look at this Mercedes C-Class. After a very minor accident, at least it looks like that from the very beginning. So you need just to change several parts in it, like the front bumper, the hood, also headlights, and you are good to go on almost new car. And also airbags are not exploded, so there shouldn't be any problems, right? Not really, because if you look at the dashboard of this car, you will find that it is just full of the warning lights. And as you can see, it has problems with engine, also with ESP and braking system. And that means that probably this car was in quite serious accident. And also, if you find a video with this car, unfortunately I cannot download and install it here, also you can find that the engine is not working correctly at all. And if you face this car on the local market, probably you would get from the seller this picture of very minor accident. And the explanation that you shouldn't be worried about nothing in this car. The thing that you need to understand is that cars don't go to the auctions in the US after any accident. That's not true, because they go there only when the car insurance company realized that there is no reason to repair this car properly. And by properly, I mean really properly, so to repair it to the original manufacturer's condition. And with almost any modern car, it is quite tricky, especially with technically complicated car like, for example, a Mercedes, but even with any modern Toyota, if we don't talk about extremely basic models. It would be expensive to repair all electronics, to change everything in it, and to do it as good as new. Yes, we all know that labor in the US is extremely expensive. And of course, on many markets, you can repair the car properly, also paying just less for the labor. However, all parts would cost about the same, depending on taxes, of course, but still, almost the same. And yes, you can get maybe 5% revenue on this car, I mean profit on this car, if you repair it in another country. However, usually people who import these cars are not looking for 5% profit. They try to repair these cars as cheap as it is possible. And of course, it is possible to save some money. You can find used parts. Also, you can, for example, instead of changing something in electronics, you can just reprogram it and then you get the result. There is no warning light on the dashboard. Instead of changing some panels that you really need to change to make the car good, they will use Chinese copies, or otherwise they will repair the parts that need to be changed. And the thing is that modern cars are made to save your life only in one real accident. And of course, nobody can guarantee you that the safety systems would work correctly, and also body parts deformation and all that. You just never know what can happen in the next accident. That can, of course, be with you. But even if you don't care about your safety, you just want cool car. You want to drive Mercedes instead of Toyota. Okay, I can understand it, of course. However, just trust me, I saw hundreds of cars imported from the US, and they are all in very bad technical condition. Even if they are like 30-50,000 miles mileage, still, you just feel that these cars were built cheap, I mean rebuilt with cheap parts and cheap everything. And you don't have a feeling from the Mercedes of the Mercedes car. You really would enjoy in your everyday life. And here I don't even count any repairs that you would need to do with this car, and for sure there would be a lot. You just, in driving, would really enjoy Kia or Hyundai or any other car, any maybe even budget car, more than Mercedes or BMW that was in accident. However, I think that we shouldn't ignore the reliability part of this story, because if you buy a car after almost any accident, because of the punch straight on the body and on all car, you would have much more chances of any leakages, any damages and everything that can be broken, and the resource of this car is much lower than the original condition car. So 15-20% that you would save buying this car, you would pay just for the service, and also you cannot trust your car, and you know that feeling when you have a car and you cannot rely on it. And the last part about the US spec cars that you can buy all around the world probably is that it would be extremely hard to sell it to the next owner. Because if you buy a just imported car from the US, for example, 5 years old, first of all, the professional salesman usually would sell it to you. And of course, for him, it's much easier to do everything to sell it to you. And also, after the car would be, okay, let's say 7 or 10 years old, then the difference in price wouldn't be so high. And for example, any car enthusiast for sure wouldn't buy this car and wouldn't consider it because, okay, you are choosing from Mercedes for, I don't know, $12,000 or let's say 11 or 10, and for sure you would get a domestic specs for a bit more, and to be sure in the condition of this car, in the service history, in everything like that. I just want you to keep in mind that all business of importing US cars to developing countries is based maybe not exactly on the fraud. However, it is just based on repairing this car as cheap as it is possible. And you really would never enjoy this car. Thank you for watching. You can share this video with your friends and whoever is interested in it. Your like would support channel a lot, and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of practical advice on car buying and car maintenance. Thank you and see you soon. Alright, now if you click one of these two videos, I hope you will enjoy them as well.